Think Realty Nation, it's your host, Abhi Golhar. Welcome to the Think Realty podcast, your number one source of all awesome real estate investing information ever provided to you in the universe. All right, maybe that was a little bit of a stretch. The universe! All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of great things on the show today. Now, first and foremost, a market wrap-up on Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's what's coming up, followed by an interview with my good friend Nancy Wallace with KBN Homes out of Dallas, Texas. And we're talking about her book, her best-selling book, and also some strategies that you can use to get ahead as a real estate investor, specifically in marketing. So that's really cool. The 10 things you should do to not lose money on real estate deals, and then the 2 groups of people you should be focusing on when building and renovating single-family homes. That's what's up on the show today. Can't wait to get it started. This podcast is brought to you by Roofstock. If you're ready to buy your next investment property, then check out Roofstock, the number one marketplace for buying and selling single-family rental homes. Featuring tenant-occupied rental properties for sale in over 20 states, Roofstock makes it easy to invest in cash-flowing real estate outside your local market. And to help you invest remotely with confidence, all properties are backed by Roofstock's industry-leading 30-day money-back guarantee. Sign up for free today to find your next cash-flowing rental property at roofstock.com/thinkrealty. Let's talk about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not my favorite football team, but they are the local favorites in Pittsburgh. Unemployment rate sitting at a nice 3.8%. Not too high, not too low there. Feels pretty good. Median household income, $59,000 every single year. 2.3 million people live in the Pittsburgh area. The median home price is roughly about$73,000 with a median monthly rent of $858 every single month. Berg is known as the City of Bridges for its 446 bridges in the Steel City for obvious reasons. Man, oh man, steel manufacturing. I think about hard-nosed football, I think about Pittsburgh. That's exactly what's on my mind. You can, if you want to learn more about Pittsburgh and the attractions, etc., you can go to visitpittsburgh.com. And Pittsburgh is proud to rank among one of the top places to live, work, and visit in the United States. Quote, our city is consistently recognized with accolades from major travel and financial organizations as one of the most livable cities with one of the most viable economies. We've been honored as the first-rate city for livability, culture, and economy, for several years, and that's according to visitpittsburgh.com. So, what's the opportunity in Pittsburgh? Oh, single-family rentals. I feel like I've been saying single-family rentals a lot lately, but that's because it's true, and especially in Pittsburgh, you have your median monthly rent at $858 with an acquisition of roughly $75. How is that not winning? Next up is an interview with my good friend Nancy Wallace with KBN Homes. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stick around. And Ms. Nancy Wallace, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here.
Hey, you got it, and likewise. So tell me a little bit about who you are, what you do in your background. I know you also are part owner of KBN Homes, so there's a lot there to talk about. You've written a book. You're part of President's Circle. We're talking about marketing strategies and being competitive in the real estate investing space with other investors. So much to talk about in like 15 minutes or less.
So much.
Yes.
So much. Well, okay, I've been investing for, oh my gosh, close to 20 years now. Started out as buy and hold. I'm a real estate broker here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we primarily focus on buying very distressed properties and fixing them up and doing owner financing. But we've run across a lot of strategies, and Dallas is a very competitive market. So some of the things that I have to do to kind of stand out is let sellers know what I can offer. I work a lot and network a lot and actually get quite a few deals through a referral, just through networking. I have realtor friends that can't sell on the traditional open market, so they'll contact me and I'll be the first one out there to look at a property. We do direct mail. We do a lot of direct mail, and we also do cold calling. So we kind of combine all of these things to just get the word about who we are. And yes, I am a best-selling author as well. In my spare time, yay, I wrote a book called Winning Deals and Heels. I'm super excited. This
That's
book
awesome.
actually was a childhood dream of mine to write a book. I never knew what I was going to write
Wow.
about. And then I'm so passionate about real estate. And I have a lot of women friends that have either tried to break in or successful. And the idea of the book came up when one of my friends called me and they were sobbing because they just had a lot of problems with contractors. And so we got to talking about, women in this industry and, that we face some of the same challenges as, women in the regular corporate world. And you know what? I wanted to showcase successful women real estate investors because I'll go to a lot of conferences. And you know what? You don't see a lot of women up on the stage or giving talks. And there are tons of women real estate investors that are very successful. So I kind of wanted to highlight women that are successful in this industry. It does take a certain skill set, but it's not that you can't learn that. If you get the book, you'll see that one of the common themes in the book is persistence, getting a mentor, and don't give up. You can't be watching HGTV and think it's all like, oh, yay, let me do that. And I do meet people, they're like, oh,
Yeah,
hey,
no,
you know
it's
what?
making me cringe already.
So I just wanted to showcase women real estate investors and kind of bring to light that, there's quite a few out there. And that's opened doors for me as well. So, a little credibility, that kind of thing. So I love it.
So you're a
and one
best-selling
more thing about
author.
the book.
You're a real estate investor.
Part of the proceeds of the book
Yes.
are donated to Hope's Door here in Plano, Texas,
Oh, how
which
cool.
is a shelter that helps families heal from domestic violence. So when you buy the book, you're also giving back. So
That's
we'll
a great
talk about
cause.
how you can get a copy of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'll see you in Irvine soon, I'm sure. That should be a lot of fun, too.
Yes.
So in your book, you have a lot of good tips in your book. So everybody should get that book. Go to Amazon.com and purchase the book, Winning Deals and Heels, written by Nancy. So just go to Amazon.com right now. If you have a chance, open up a new tab.
Go do it. So.
Absolutely go do it. So let's talk about investors in the market. Dallas, where you live, it's a very competitive market to be investing in. The same thing where I live in Atlanta. And you start looking at now these secondary markets that are becoming a little more popular. You have your Chattanooga, Tennessee's, and then your Indianapolis, Indiana, and Detroit, Michigan.
Ohio.
These types of.
I mean, I know people investing in Ohio. So, and
Yeah.
you know what? That's what we do. That's what we do here. We actually look at the outlying areas. We're getting out of our comfort zone of the Dallas-Fort Worth area because, especially if you're a buy and hold investor, it's tough to find a property in DFW that's going to cash flow, trying to stick to the 1% rule. It's nearly impossible. So we've pretty much, we're not doing rentals right now. It's just not the time in the DFW area. Now we've gone out, 2-3 hours, the state of Texas is huge.
Right.
And there's lots of opportunity in the smaller towns. I mean, people, believe it or not, we sold a house. We took it subject to. We had that thing owner finance. We barely touched it and not on the market. And someone, called us and bought it from us. I mean, within a week of us owning it. So people are looking at home ownership, rentals out in the outlying areas. So that's kind of what we've done to be more competitive because it's super hard in the DFW area. You have new investors that are paying way too much for the properties.
That's right. And don't you find that to be a major challenge right now, especially with your new investors? I mean, they'll say that, hey, I'm going to do mailers, and then I'm going to go, knock on doors, and then I'm just going to offer crazy prices for properties. And the moment that they see a deal, everybody pounces on this deal like it's I don't know. It's like a bunch of lions on this one on this one piece of meat, it's
it's
crazy.
Fortunate because I do run into folks like that. They just, they get excited. They're very emotional. They're making emotional purchases because they want to get into the game. And unfortunately, I've met some folks that, I've come along to kind of help them because that does end up, being another kind of opportunity because they bought the property wrong. They're in over their head. They don't know how to, fix it or flip it or whatnot. It's not good for the market though, and here in Dallas, and I think in Atlanta too, it's changing a bit. Like the higher end homes, longer days on market. And personally, I only go for homes that have an ARV of 250 or under. I'm not really interested in doing high-end homes.
Thank you so much for saying that.
And affordable housing is a huge problem here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yep.
So we have been fortunate to, we're like pit bulls. We have found properties that we've purchased for under $100,000. And then able to owner finance them for between the 150, 175. I mean, you can find the deals out there. You just have to be super persistent. And when I talk to a seller that he's been talking or she's been talking to multiple investors, I'll just say, hey, can I be the last person you talk to? But I just let them know I can't come in there and pay retail. Now, being a real estate broker, yes, I could list the property, but I don't do a lot of traditional real estate because I'm too busy solving, people that have a distressed property, and typically those do not go on the market. So
right. So here's a question for you.
There are pockets. Let me put it that way. There are pockets in the DFW area. If you can identify them, you can pick up some properties at a pretty reasonable price still. But what you're going to end up doing is owner financing. I mean, they're tough to rent because they probably need a ton of repairs.
That's
because
right.
These are very vacant properties, but it does happen. I'll just tell a quick story. We bought a property over in Fort Worth, paid $10,000 for it. 3 days after we closed on it, we had it cleaned out, but that's all we did to it, and we owner financed it for $50,000. So it can happen. It can happen, and our terms were 20% down, 10%, and so I was made whole. Drove by the property. That was last year. Drove by the property a few months ago, and the people are like totally fixing up the house. So it's good for the neighborhood. It makes me feel good to sell it to someone that otherwise couldn't get into home ownership. And it's a win-win for everybody.
That's awesome. It's not, I mean, owner financing in and of itself is a pretty cool strategy, and it's a really good tool to have in our tool belts as real estate investors. And so we don't have a whole lot of time to get into that because there's mathematics involved and all of that.
So we'll do that. Just talking about owner finance,
yeah, so we'll have you back to talk about that a little bit. But what I do want to hit on a little bit, though, Nancy, is what you're doing to find your deals. You mentioned that you do a lot of mailers. I don't know if those are yellow letters or postcards or something inside the envelope. But what strategies are you using right now to market?
I do postcards. I mail to zip codes that are kind of known for distressed, pocket. I live if you're familiar with the DFW area, so I live in Collin County. Okay. Now, I would love to market in my own backyard, but it's just too high priced here, and it's rare to find a deal in my own backyard. Dallas, the Fort Worth, Tarrant County still has some deals, so we kind of target areas that we know that might be in the where they're kind of doing rebuilds, gentrification, that kind of thing. And then I network and I let people know. I let everybody I know. I had a good experience with an Uber driver a few months ago. We got into what I did, and you know what? He called me just last week, and I went and looked at his father's house. The father passed away. He remembered me, and you have to make the connection with people. You make a really good
point. Yeah, you make a really good point with the Uber driver. There was a Wall Street Journal article that came out just a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about how Uber drivers were making money on the side. And here I thought like Uber was a side hustle thing, but maybe this is a side hustle to the side hustle. So Uber drivers were making money in real estate by essentially being that bird dog for investors like you. And
think about it. Especially if they're doing it full time. They're talking to people, and they're talking to people all over, buyers, sellers. I let the people, when I'm in line, I rarely at the grocery store, I rarely do the self-checkout. I always go through the line because my intention is to talk to the person that's waiting on me. And I'm going to get in there something about, hey, if you know anybody that's selling the house, blah, 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 and I'll throw out some quick little tidbit. Or maybe there's somebody that's wanting to get into. Almost everybody you meet, they are so curious as to how to get into real estate investing. They just don't have the first clue how to do it. So you know what? I'm happy to share a few nuggets, a cup of coffee, because I've just got a bird dog. You know what I mean? There's somebody,
Totally.
and everybody knows somebody. So we do a lot of networking on the direct marketing and cold calling. We just kind of hit it hard. We're consistent. We're constantly following up. If people say, take me off the list, we do that. But I have a call center management background from way back when. So I just took that knowledge of how to manage lists and how to call people and when to call them and the days to call them. And, that's been really fruitful. We just implemented that the last year, at the end of last year, got all the bugs worked out. In January, we just, in fact, I have a good problem. I have so many leads, I don't know what to do with them. So it's a good problem. So we've had a little growing pain. So we combine direct mail with the calling, and it's a perfect blend because
okay.
you have kind of a warm lead into it. Yeah. So, and then you have to be consistent and you have to follow up and be respectful. Don't, if somebody says, don't call me, or, don't do it. Don't keep calling them.
Right.
We do scrub our list so that we use Mojo, and it'll go in there and it can identify who's already on the do not call list.
Yeah. Love Mojo for that. And there are all these small little tech pieces too. You have Call Rail, you have all these others that one can really use in developing your business, and what Nancy's saying, creating that call script and then just giving folks a call and just firing through everything, because you never know who you're going to talk to. So Nancy, we gotta wrap up here. I certainly appreciate your time and being on the show. I know it flies by when you're having fun, and I'm definitely going to make sure to see you in Irvine.
And you're so easy to talk to, so love it.
Well, that's far too kind. But I'm looking forward to seeing you in Irvine, getting a copy of the book. Everybody needs to go to Amazon, get the copy of the book, Winning Deals and Heels, written by Nancy. Just go to Amazon, get it. It's a great book. Nancy, as we're closing out, one gold nugget for new investors. What do you suggest?
You know what? My standard is just never give up. Find a mentor, reach out to someone. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars when you're first starting out. There are great podcasts out there that you can listen to. You can kind of self-educate. And then if you have some time, contact a person like myself and say, hey, I have time. Is there something I can do? And kind of barter to learn more from a seasoned investor. So just never give up. Don't make emotional mistakes with your money. Make calculated financial good decisions. I know that's more than they wanted to hear, but just don't give up. There's a way to make it happen if you're really wanting to. For sure. If I want to reach out and say hi, what's the best way to do that? Got an email? Got a phone number? Got a website? Yeah, email is going to be the very best. Cool. Nancy@kbnhomes.com, or visit me at my website, kbnhomes.com. I'm pretty easy to find. And you can also Google Winning Deals and Heels, and you'll find me that way as well. Awesome. Nancy, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. All right. Thank you so much. You got it. Think Realty Nation. We'll be right back. This segment is brought to you by Narada Real Estate Investments, your premier source for cash flow investment property. Visit www.turnkeyrealestateinvestments.com. Let's start with the 10 ways of what not to do and how to lose money investing in real estate. I think this is more kind of meant for some of the newer investors out there. You're thinking about jumping into this game. You're thinking about, well, geez, there's so much money to be made because, well, HGTV is making it. So why can't I? Well, here are 10 things that maybe you should consider as you're going down this journey. Number 10, always maintain cash reserves. Now, I'd like to think stupid is as stupid does, and there are a lot of stupid investors out there that don't maintain cash reserves. So I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. Number 9, don't think you're buying a discount property when you're not buying a discount property. Far too many times in an email, I'll get, hey, this $100,000 property is really worth $150,000, and therefore it's a discount. And then you go to find out that it's not worth $150,000, it's worth maybe $105,000, and that's not really discount to the market price to begin with. So you're not really buying a discount property in that case. Just kind of keep that in mind. Number 8, don't buy properties without viewing them. This is one of those, here's your sign moments. Like Jeff Foxworthy has this, here's your sign for doing something dumb and stupid. If you're buying property sight unseen, I think that's something that's pretty dumb and stupid, right? Would you buy a car sight unseen? No, unless you're going to flip the car, which is what I used to do back in the early 2000s. But
if it's something that you're going to drive on a daily basis, you want to like buy it after seeing it, test driving, etc. You should do the same thing with your property. Number 7, don't pay a guru for education. Like, there are far too many times when like you could find better information on YouTube, or also by going to thinkrealty.com. Look at that, plug for thinkrealty.com. But it's true. I've created videos, Pam Goodwin's created videos, Clint Kuhn's created videos, CEO Eddie Wilson's created videos. There are so many awesome people on thinkrealty.com that have created videos so you can start the conversation with yourself, your loved one, your spouse, and get the education you need to really dominate this area of your life. So, you don't need to pay a guru. Whatever. Always get an inspection for the property. That's coming in at number 6. This is also really self-explanatory. If you don't get an inspection for the property, how do you know what to fix? How do you know what's wrong? Isn't that a little bit of a challenge? The same thing with a car. You're going to get a 150-point inspection on the car, aren't you? Or at least you'll get like a Carfax or something, right? Not the Carfax, the Carfax. Proper due diligence is number 5. You got to do proper due diligence here, folks. Due diligence equals homework. Due diligence, what is it? What kind of homework should you do? Well, go to thinkrealty.com. You find some of the answers there. But first and foremost, is it in a good location? Secondly, compare it to other properties in the area. Third, what are the nearby amenities? Whether it's of the community, are you near a local highway system? Are you near shopping? What are you near? What's going on? Why is this a good place to visit? I'm a huge believer in, I want to dig into what's going on in that neighborhood, in that city, and then buy accordingly. So there are a couple more here if you want to start that conversation and, of course, get involved. Get in touch with me. The best way to do that is, of course, go anywhere online at Abhi Golhar, but again, thinkrealty.com. All right, so let's get to the 2 groups of people. If you're going to be building a property, there are 2 groups of people that you should be building a property for. You want to guess? All right, fine. You guessed properly. Number 1, baby boomers. And Gene Guarino actually has a great program about residential assisted living. And that's really coming online, especially for the baby boomers, because they need medical care, they need some help around the house, and residential assisted living can really help with that. The second group of people, millennials, and especially your starter home millennials. Right? In this conversation with Nancy, she just mentioned she's refocusing her ARVs, essentially her entry points into buying homes, at $250,000 and less. There's still a lot of flippers out there, say in California, that are looking at, say, $750,000 and above. That's because it's California. But if you're looking at your starter home kind of folks, that price point is going to be $250,000 and under. So really pay attention to that for the millennial segment of the population, for the baby boomer population. Take a look at what you can do in providing better assisted living than like your Sunrise and some of these other larger big box assisted living facilities. If you can create a better experience and a more niche experience, guess what? You win. This podcast is brought to you by Roofstock. If you're ready to buy your next investment property, then check out Roofstock, the #1 marketplace for buying and selling single-family rental homes. Featuring tenant-occupied rental properties for sale in over 20 states, Roofstock makes it easy to invest in cash-flowing real estate outside your local market. And to help you invest remotely with confidence, all properties are backed by Roofstock's industry-leading 30-day money-back guarantee. Sign up for free today to find your next cash-flowing rental property at roofstock.com/thinkrealty. That's the show, folks. If you have any questions, get in touch. Go to thinkrealty.com. We also have a magazine. It's called Think Realty Magazine. You can pick it up at Barnes & Noble. And until next time, happy investing.